Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video I will be talking about our financial peaks and pits of the month, and to go with this I have filmed a morning in the life video so you can follow along with me, getting some things done, getting some errands done while I chat. On this particular morning I was off work, so I went to the gym. I had a couple of vintage parcels to post, so I had to go to the post office. And yeah, to save money, I parked further away at a free car park, and it also meant I got some steps in, so that was a win-win. I had to take a quick trip to Dunnes to spend a groceries voucher that was due to expire. I shop mainly at Aldi, but I do buy a handful of branded stuff from either Tesco or Dunnes depending. I also then packed up some more vintage parcels when I got home and sorted out the washing. I uploaded a budget overview for the month already, but the peaks and pits is more of a nitty gritty look into our spending for the month. It can be big or small things really, depending. But I like to look back over what we did well or not so well, and it can be very helpful for future budgets. But then also some of these things can be completely out of our control. And I feel like in this current economic climate, a lot of us feel like we're losing control of our finances. I, in a lot of ways, feel like I don't have as good of a grasp on it as I once did, without doubt. But I also think then, although I don't have any control over interest rates or the rate of inflation, I think when it comes to the smaller things in our budget, that's where I can hopefully try to gain back some control. And I think having a few small wins can really help to boost confidence in budgeting too. That's what I found anyway. I'm going to start with a peak, and that is that my husband was paid some overtime this month that we hadn't budgeted for. Didn't know it was coming, and I touched on this a bit in my last video. Now, obviously having additional income to work with is an amazing peak. Like, it can make such a difference. And depending on your financial circumstances, it could allow you to replenish some sinking funds, or to balance out some overspending in your day to day, or it can cover the cost of a large unexpected expense that crops up during the month. For us this month, the majority of it went towards beefing back up our house and garden maintenance sinking fund that we had to drain a few months ago for some necessary and completely unavoidable garden maintenance. I have to say, it felt good to get this sinking fund back to where it was, because we hadn't had the chance to start replenishing that since we had to pay out for the expense. And the plan was to replenish it a little bit every month until it was back to where it was. But then with this income, we decided to fully fund this sinking fund once again. So happy days. Despite that brilliant peak, we had a few pits this month. The first one was completely out of our control, but it is a big one that affects our overall net worth, and that is that our investment funds took a nosedive. This was due to the geopolitical situation that's going on in the world right now. I logged into our accounts the other day and I was really disheartened to see the balance. We're not investing experts by any means, but we do dabble in it, and it is one tool that we are using to help us pay off our mortgage early. But the sad thing is that I think it will likely take some time for these investments to recover and climb back up to what they were, which isn't really great news for us. I know that investing is a long game, but that is what we have done. But now we're getting to the point where we are hoping to redeem some of our investments within the next 12 to 18 months or so, in order to make a large enough overpayment on our mortgage, because that is when our fixed rate ends. It ends within that time frame, and we have no control over that. But obviously we're going to have to write this one out and just see what happens. I'll try to keep a closer eye on this and check in on it more regularly than I previously had been. Another pit was that our electricity bill was higher than predicted. We have a smart meter which is great for tracking our electricity usage. Our supplier also has an app whereby we can check in daily and see if our predicted usage matches up with our forecasted usage. But this month we went over, which is actually very unusual for us, and I honestly don't know what we were doing differently. Now, earlier in the month, there was a software glitch with ESB, and thousands of customers throughout the country were receiving extortionately high bills that were based on completely wrong readings, which did take them some time to get sorted. So, my Energy app was actually down for around 2 weeks while this was all going on, and when it came back up online, it showed that our usage was higher. Now, not by the extortionately high numbers that some customers had, but definitely higher than what we usually have. So I am a bit suspicious that our issue could be connected to this. I have emailed the supplier, but of course they haven't responded, so I will have to get back in touch with them again and see what's going on here. I also had a financial pit with my personal spending. I went over budget buying clothes and makeup. I have plenty of clothes and I had cut back hugely on this for the past 9 months or so. And I was more or less doing a no spend for clothes except for essentials. But then this month I ended up buying myself a little lightweight jacket from Zara and a pair of jeans. They were on the special buys on their website, which they do from time to time. So I did get them for around 40% off, which is something, I suppose. And then with my makeup, I order a brand from the US because it's actually not sold here, not anywhere that I found anyway. I did buy some when I was over in London last year, which was nice not to have to place an online order. Anyway, they run discounts every few months, and that's when I usually stock up. But I hadn't budgeted for buying anything this time around when they were offering a discount, and then I realised I was running low on quite a few products. So I hadn't planned for it, but I thought it was a good idea to go ahead. There is a minimum spend for free delivery, and it really is worth it because otherwise the cost of delivery from the US to Ireland is very steep. So I knew I had to hit that minimum order mark, and then it really just pushed me a fair bit over budget for my personal spending. I'm going to end on a peak just because I want to feel a bit better. It's a small win really, but one I'm quite happy with. Spotify actually sent me an offer for 75% off premium for 2 months, and I jumped at this. I am totally unwilling to pay for premium at the regular cost of €12 per month, but €3 per month I can do. It really does make my gym sessions a lot more enjoyable. I'll be really sad when it ends, but not sad enough to pay €12 per month. Although this win involved me spending money that I wouldn't have otherwise spent, for me it was worth it, and I think that €3 is very good value for this. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'm just getting back into the swing of making YouTube content. I did try this once before, and although it was a lot of hard work, it was also a lot of fun, and I do think that it is a good skill set to have. I hope that my videos will improve over time. Practice makes perfect and all of that, but I'm trying not to get too hung up on these early videos being perfect and just focus on getting used to making content again and playing around with Canva and YouTube and brushing up on my skills as I go. I'm also quite introverted, which I know is strange when it comes to YouTube, but I am passionate about budgeting and family finances, and I would love to share the things that I've learned along the way. I'd really love to have your support, so please do like and subscribe if you can. So they were my peaks and pits for the month of March. I'd love to hear yours too, so please comment below and we'll keep the conversation going. I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.